Hi, welcome everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. In this little video here, we're going to talk a little bit about driver fitting and maybe why you guys could have possibly gone out and bought the wrong sort of lofted driver. Now, through fitting, obviously, you know, there's a lot of loft options available in the market nowadays, you know, from sort of 7.5 degrees all the way up to sort of 13.5 roughly. So there's a lot of options there, but you've got to think, well, why is there all these different loft options? And obviously everybody maybe flights the ball a little bit differently from person to person, but a lot of it will come down to angle of attack into the golf ball. And obviously through a fitting session with Launch Monitor, we can sort of measure how you as an individual deliver that golf club into that golf ball. Okay, so unless you're measuring angle of attack and a little bit of strike as well, it's very difficult to know what is the right loft for you. And I know visually you could look at the ball flight and think, well, you know, and tinker a little bit by visually looking at it, but you need to be measuring it in terms of where you're hitting on the club face, your angle of attack, and then how that then produces a certain spin number to really sort of maximise your sort of ball flight. So in this video here, what I'm going to do, I've got the Ping G400 drive here. I've got one that's I'm going to set at 9.5 degrees, and then I've got one that I'm going to set at 13 degrees. And maybe I'm just going to hit some of my normal swings. I generally around sort of 1.5, 2 degrees on the way up as an angle of attack. So I'm generally in that sort of 9.5, sort of 9 area of loft. I don't need too much loft because I'm presenting more dynamic loft at impact. And then I'm going to hit some with a 13 degree driver, and I'm going to hit maybe a little bit more down and just see how that would affect launch, if it does in any way, or whether it actually launches higher. So even though I've got more loft in my hand statically, what am I producing dynamically at impact? And we'll have a little look at that as well. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a 9.5 degree loft here. I'm going to keep the same shaft in both of these heads here, just to keep the test as equal as we possibly can. Just going to hit a few shots with just from my normal swing, so my normal setup, normal swing. As I say, generally about 1.5, 2 degrees on the way up I would deliver driver, so we'll look at that using HMT with GC2, but we'll get the first one hit here. Okay, so nice straight sort of golf shot, touch up the right, decent strike there. Okay, and that's getting out there around sort of 281. Now I'll hit that a little bit higher up in the club face there, so that probably just launched up a little bit higher than probably what I would normally do. Okay, again, decent strike there, just pulled that a fraction, but strike was pretty good. That's getting out around sort of 293 area there, spinning around 2,600. So let's have a look at those two shots of hit there. Very two different strikes there, but we're going to look at angle of attack then, see if anything's changed in my delivery, or whether it's just purely sort of strike or a bit of both in a way. Right, okay, so let's look at those two shots there. So two very different launch angles there. Obviously the loft has stayed the same. First one launched at 14, second one launched at 10.5. So let's just see as to why that actually sort of happened there. So we'll look at that first shot to start off with. So yeah, a little bit sort of high heel there. Attack was 2.9 up, so a little bit more up than probably what I normally am there, and that delivered the loft, a dynamic loft at impact of 19.3 degrees. Okay, and the club face was just left a little bit open, which was why that ball just peeled off, as you can see there, just a little bit up that right hand side and a little bit higher on that ball flight. Now what you see straight away there, the second shot was very different. So obviously as soon as I hit that little bit of a high, slightly right one, myself, I've just made a little adjustment subconsciously there, just try and square that up, and I've just moved that over a little bit more to the left. So that launched off at 10 degrees there, as you can see. Okay, so it's come out a little bit lower. Probably did a little bit less loft there, so you can see ball speed's got up, maybe strike's been a little bit better there, so that carried out at 269, running out 292. So let's have a look at that data. Yeah, so strike's a little bit different there, so a little bit more towards toe there. Attack 1.4 on the way up, which is a bit more of my norm there. Club face wasn't quite as open there. A little bit of toe strike, that's what's just turned it over a touch left. But then look at the dynamic loft there, so you see I'm pretty much a good 3 degrees less dynamic loft there at impact, you know, purely, again, because of attack angle. So it goes back to this attack has been quite important here. So 1.5 degrees less up with that second shot, and I've produced 3 degrees less loft dynamically. And you can see from the launch angle that's made a difference of 4 degrees difference on the launch, and you can see then peak height there, probably a little bit of spin involved as well. You can see it's a very different flighted golf shot. Okay, so what I'm just going to do first here, I'm going to keep the 9.5 head in here, but what I'm going to do now is try and change my angle of attack. So imagine if I'm golfer coming to a fitting session, I'm going to try and hit a little bit more down on this, which is what a lot of golfers would typically present to me in a fitting scenario. So I'm going to hit a little bit down it, keep it at 9.5, and maybe just look at what dynamically loft I deliver impact, and how that maybe changed from that first couple of shots, which was more my normal swing. So this is going to be hitting a little bit more sort of down. Okay, strike felt pretty good. Just turn that a little bit left there, but definitely lower on visually on the flight and what I'm seeing on the launch monitor there. Yeah, again, I've turned that over left. It doesn't feel normal to me. That feels like I'm trying to catch that club head up there. But again, it's coming out very, very low. More interesting to see what dynamic loft I'm delivering and my angle of attack here. So let's have a quick look at that one. Right, okay, so let's look at launch. So 9.5 degree, hitting down, you see 7.9, 6.2, so very low launch in there. Ball speeds actually come off a little bit quicker, but the ball will come off faster with a more straighter face, obviously. But as you can see, launching way too low there. So let's have a look at overall distance. Hasn't changed massively, but having said that, those balls did go violently left there, so I'm not too interested really on distance. Let's have a look at the numbers here. So first shot hit there, you can see 1.8 on the way down, so definitely different from what I delivered on the first one there. Delivering face was pretty good there. You see the dynamic loft there is only 12.7 degrees. Now this is the biggest difference or biggest comment I get with a lot of golfers. Look at the dynamic loft and say, well, I've got a 9.5 degree driver, why is that not delivering 9.5 degrees impact? You've got to think the shaft is going to be flexing, it's going to be bending. You know what as you come into the golf ball, again, how you deliver it, whether it's down, whether it's up, it's going to change that dynamic loft at impact, not static, because this is what stamps on the bottom of the golf club is a static measurement. It's more important what you deliver at impact, because you can manipulate the loft very, very easily, like I'm doing here. So 12.7 degrees, very, very low that basically, and you can see that gets that ball launching very low. So let's look at the second shot there, hit. Here we go. So again, strike a little bit toe, but again 1.5 on the way down, only 11.5 dynamic loft. So very, very different on that loft delivery there, and giving a very, very sort of different ball flight. You can see there a little bit sort of hooky there. Again, it's not a delivery I'm used to, and struggle to control that shot direction there, but you can see the peak of the height is very, very different. If we look at it maybe from a side on view is a good way to look at it. So again, there's the first two, the white, red, very much lower. Okay. Right, so what I've done now, guys, is I've put the 12 degree G400 head here, but I've added the loft with the neck sleeve here to 13 degrees. So what I'm going to try and do is simulate that I'm a golfer that would deliver the club down. Now, ideal world, you know, for me being a coach and a fitter, I would like to work on that technique and try and change that delivery. But some golfers might not want to change that. They might not want to go down that lesson front, but they're wanting a driver just to perform a little bit better on that golf course. So if that golfer is that one that delivers down, then this is where obviously what we're going to look at here in terms of loft, hopefully is going to make a big difference. So I'm going to keep my delivery the same here, roughly that 1 to 2 degree on the way down, but I'll give myself more static loft. But let's see if that translates into dynamic loft and how much more, if it does deliver more at impact. So I'm going to hit again a couple of shots here. I'm going to try and keep that downward attack coming into it. Now as I put that down by the ball, I see a lot of the club face. Obviously there's a lot of loft here from what I'm used to, so I'm seeing a lot of angle basically, which looks like I'm going to hit it really high. But as I say, I'm going to try and keep this attack on the way down. Okay, we'll give this first one a hit. Okay, so straight away there, that ball flight has gone higher. Okay, it felt like a hit down on that. So that's only gone 251 in terms of a distance number there. That launched at just under 11 degrees. So let's hit another one. again, higher ball flight, but it does look a bit weak. It looks like it's spinning and climbing a little bit. Again, that's only gone 264. But let's have a look at some angle attacks. Let's look at the dynamic loft that I've delivered there with that higher static loft. Right, okay, so 13 degree hitting down here. So launch angle up at 10.9, 10.6, so quite consistent there, but you see definitely higher than that 9.5 degree hitting down here. So looking at those shots in a little bit more detail, look at the first shot first. So strike, a little bit low in the face, okay, but 1.1 down, so I've got that down attack there. There you go, you can see that loft's jumped back up again to 16.5. So again, that static loft has helped me to deliver more dynamic loft. Okay, so yeah, the launch is around sort of 10 degrees, but I'm having to put a lot of loft in my hands to get it to 10 degrees to deliver that 16.5 dynamic loft there. So look at the second shot. Okay, again, slightly low in the face. We know that's going to affect spin number there, which we'll have a quick look at in a minute. But there you go, 18.3, and that's hit by hitting 2 down. So if I was a down hitter, which again I see a lot of golfers coming into fitting scenarios here that do hit a little bit down on it, then you're going to need some extra loft in your hands. The only downside to that is you can generally produce a little bit more backspin. So if you look at that spin number there, see 4.3, 3.6. I'm averaging at 3.9 there, which is very different to the first few shots there. So what's going to happen there, you can see, because I'm hitting sort of down and glancing the ball more, you can see my ball speed drops off. Even though clubhead speed hasn't, ball speed takes a big hit, okay, because I'm sort of glancing more down with more angle of the club face. So my smash comes down significantly there, spin goes up, and that's where then the peak height gets a little bit higher, descent gets a little bit steeper, and it only carries at 241. It was a little bit straighter, but you can see not a lot of run on there, so only 257 total, so it's not running out at all because it's spinning more, a little bit steeper on the descent. You can see it's not running out at all distance-wise. So let's have a look at it on the side angle here. Again, another good way of looking at it. So there you go. So it's back up similar to my 9.5 degree, roughly there. But you can see it's dropping quicker out the sky there. Obviously less ball speed there, so it's dropping out the sky a little bit quicker with some spin on it. So, but definitely higher than where I had it with the 9.5. Again, hitting more down on it. Okay guys, so there you go. You can probably just see the importance there of getting measured in terms of your angle of attack to see what loft you probably need to be in your driver. But it's not only just loft, it's obviously strike a little bit, spin. But as I say, being a coach, being a club fitter, it's a bit of a two-way street for me. So, you know, if a guy comes in hitting 2 down on it, I'd probably maybe just ask him, you know, is that something you'd like to change? We could probably get to as good as we could get through a fit, and that probably would be a lot better maybe than what he's had in the past in terms of a driver, which straight away there he'll be more than happy. But then I'll say to him, well, you know, you've got some left in the tank in a way in terms of changing that angle attack, and obviously if you do change that angle attack, the loft would then have to change again. So it's maybe a question or a conversation you'd have there as to whether you would be obliged to sort of maybe work on that technique, maybe through some coaching sessions there, then sort of look at sort of driver. But I think the best thing to do first, if you're not sure what your angle of attack is, you may be seeing a different ball flight with the driver, or ball flight you maybe not quite liking, then go and get a lesson. Either get a lesson or get a fit in. Ultimately go and get measured on a launch monitor to see what your angle of attack is. Let's see what that launch is. What dynamic loft are you delivering at impact? Because this is the key here. It's irrelevant what is on the bottom to start. It's what you sort of deliver. Okay, so you know, so guys look at 10.5 degree, think, well, that's just a standard loft. That'll do for me. That'll be about right. Is it? What are you delivering at impact? It could be very, very different. Okay, again, it just really highlights the importance of going to get fit, you know, and that's so important. That's a message that we always sort of stress through YouTube, through customers coming into the shop. You know, we don't like to sell off the shelf. It's about getting fit. Let's see what your delivery is for you as an individual, and let's get you playing some better golf and some better golf shots and more enjoyment. Okay, thanks very much for watching, guys. I always appreciate you watching the videos. Do hit that subscribe button somewhere up there, and that'll give you notifications of future videos I post. There's a little bell icon on your account, on my YouTube account. So if you hit that, then you definitely will get pinged as soon as a new video gets up. So if you can hit that little bell icon, that'll be again appreciated, and then you won't miss any videos, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.